In the quiet countryside of Willowbrook, a small village nestled in the rolling hills of Devonshire, England, lived a young boy named Eli Turner. He was 13, lanky and curious, with freckles across his cheeks and a mop of chestnut hair that refused to stay combed. He lived in a modest cottage with his mother Anna, seamstress, who mended clothes for the villagers and worked long hours to make ends meet. Their lives were simple. Eli helped out wherever he could, running errands, chopping wood for elderly neighbors, delivering parcels from the village post office, and assisting the local librarian on weekends. He wasn't wealthy, but he was well-liked. Everyone in Willowbrook knew Eli as a polite, dependable boy with a strong sense of right and wrong. One crisp Saturday morning in early spring, Eli set off toward the woods beyond the village, carried an old canvas sack and a small hatchet, planning to gather kindling for the fireplace. The air smelled of damp earth and new blossoms. Birds chirped merrily overhead, and the wind whispered through the trees. As he wandered deeper into the forest, searching for dry twigs, Eli's boot caught on something solid buried under the mossy floor. He stumbled, steadied himself, and knelt down. Brushing away the leaves and dirt, he uncovered the corner of a wooden chest bound in iron. Eli's heart skipped a beat, tugged at the handle, and with effort the lid creaked open. His eyes widened. Inside was a pile of antique coins, velvet pouches filled with gemstones, silver candlesticks, and a pocket watch encrusted with tiny diamonds. The treasure shimmered in the dappled sunlight streaming through the canopy. For a moment, Eli just stared. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. This kind of wealth didn't belong in a forgotten forest, certainly not in Willowbrook, where most people made do with very little. His mind raced. He imagined what the treasure could buy. His mother could finally get her eyes checked and buy new sewing equipment. They could fix the leaking roof, get proper heating, and maybe even take a train to London for a holiday. But then, slowly reality crept back in. "This isn't mine," Eli muttered aloud. He knew full well he could walk away with it. There was no one around, no cameras, no footprints, no proof. But something inside him, something instilled by his mother, his teachers, and the quiet strength of his upbringing, stopped him cold. "The right thing isn't always the easy thing," his mother often said. Asterisk, but it's always worth doing. With a sigh, Eli closed the chest and covered it with the moss and dirt he'd disturbed. He took a photo of the spot with his old phone, marked the nearby tree with a broken stick, and ran all the way back to the village. He went straight to Mr. Aldridge, the town's mayor and a retired solicitor known for his fairness and integrity. Mr. Aldridge was in the garden pruning roses when Eli arrived, breathless and red in the face. "Steady on, lad." "What's the rush?" the old man asked, setting down his shears. I found something in the woods. A box, full of treasure. Gold, silver. It looks really old." Mr. Aldridge straightened, surprised. "Treasure, you say?" "Yes, sir. I thought you should know." "It doesn't belong to me, and I didn't take anything." Mr. Aldridge's brows lifted. "Well, now, that's a rare thing these days, honesty." The mayor gathered a few trusted village council members and followed Eli into the woods. When they reached the spot, Eli showed them the chest. Mr. Aldridge examined the contents carefully. "These coins are at least a century old," he said, holding one up to the light. "And this pocket watch, ... Good heavens. This might belong to the Harrington estate." The Harringtons were once the wealthiest family in the region, but their mansion had been abandoned for years after the last heir disappeared during the Second World War. Stories had circulated for decades about a missing family fortune, but no one had ever found it until now. Word spread quickly through Willowbrook. By the next morning, journalists from nearby towns had arrived, and historians came to examine the artifacts. The evidence pointed clearly to the Harrington family. Legal steps were taken, and the treasure was transferred to the National Trust. As the estate had been declared historical property, but amidst all the excitement, the most talked about part of the story wasn't the treasure itself. It was Eli's honesty. "You could have kept it," said one of his classmates. Why didn't you?" "Because it wasn't mine," Eli said simply. "Keeping it would have felt wrong. I wouldn't have been able to sleep at night. People were moved by Eli's integrity. The village council nominated him for a Young Citizens Award. And soon he was featured in local newspapers, then national ones. Letters poured in from strangers, some sending kind words, others small gifts or donations. The mayor arranged a public gathering in the town square, where Eli was presented with a certificate of bravery and honesty. Signed by the local member of parliament, Mr. Aldridge spoke with pride. In a world often clouded by greed and deceit, Eli Turner reminded us of the power of doing the right thing. He's not just a credit to Willowbrook, but to all of us. The National Trust, moved by the story, decided to allocate part of the recovered value to preserving the old Harrington Manor and turning it into a local museum. They also awarded a trust fund to Eli for his future education. With the money, Eli was able to help his mother fix their home, buy her new glasses and tools, and, for the first time, enroll in a private school in a nearby town where he could pursue his love for history and literature. Years later, Eli would return to Willowbrook during school breaks. The forest where he found the treasure had a new plaque marking the spot. Asterisk here. Young Eli Turner made an honest choice that inspired a nation. Asterisk. And whenever anyone asked him why he gave the treasure up, Eli would smile and say, because it felt like the only thing to do. Moral honesty may not always make you rich, but it will always make you right.